rotation. They could have gone straight into the circle, but rather chose down towards. They rotated through two bridges. It was Novo, and then it was between bridges, and then they finally made an entry. And once they made an entry, they made a big dent onto TRZ. So finally, it was Atomic again that really shined upon. Kamchi was taken down. He tried to spot one player more down. Badrim was the player, but the rest of the players from 7 Seas was completely on their toes, and they made sure that they will be getting eliminated. And with this, we head towards that damage graph where we get to see a big, tall spike into the names of 7 Seas Esports. 2312 is the damage that they did secure, and not only that, it was X Brothers with 1649, 1347 is what Kings of BD were able to secure, 987, 930. So a lot of team getting close to the 1000 mark, and not to forget about 6 kill, 1008 damage, TRZ Esports, and then it was IPG with just 55 damage and TRZ RA. So I guess next game maybe when they come into play, they might be getting more and more damage, but how often do you get to see A1 Esports just the 847 damage? Just 847.
Exactly. I mean, as so perfectly mentioned by you, right? This is just the first game. We still have 5 more games remaining for the day.
Yeah.
This is only day number 1 of the finals. So again, there are a total of 4 days that will compromise of this entire final saga itself. And in the national championship, I mean, the stakes couldn't have gotten any higher. The way these teams have played, it was absolutely ludicrous play that was showcased from the entire lobby. And now, as we move away from Randall, we'll see what can we expect from game number 2. But before we jump into that, we're going to go on a short little break. Stick around.
হ্যালো এভরিওয়ান, এই মুহূর্তে আমরা চলে এসেছি নো ইওর চ্যাম্পিয়নের আমাদের নেক্সট গেস্টকে নিয়ে। দ্যাট ইজ নান আদার দেন দ্য সুপারস্টার কাপশি। ওয়েলকাম টু দ্য শো। সো কেমন লাগছে অনেকদিন পর আবারও ফেস ক্যাম সহ কাপশি?
ভালোই।
বেসিক্যালি এখন মানে তোমাকে ফেস ক্যাম সহ দেখা যাচ্ছে না অনেকদিন ধরে। হোয়াট ইজ দ্য রিজন?
আনকমফোর্টেবল লাগে।
টিমের ব্যাপারে যদি একটু কথা বলি, যে তোমাদের টিমের মধ্যে লেটেস্ট ইনক্লুশন হিসেবে তোমরা কিন্তু এসএস রাফাতকে নিয়েছো, এন্ড সামওয়াট এসএস রাফাতের আইজিএল রোলটাতে তাকে না দেখে তার যে এখন অ্যাসল্টিং রোলটাতে আমরা দেখছি, which one is better?
Obviously assaulting, because ওই দিক থেকে উনি বেটার কিল পিক করতে পারতেছে টিমের জন্য, এন্ড আইজিএল হিসেবে ওই জায়গাটা ইভিল পূরণ করে ফেলতেছে। তো
ওকে, ইটস ওয়ার্কিং আউট পারফেক্ট। ওকে, সো তারপরের যে ব্যাপারটা আমার মাথায় আসে, রিসেন্টলি মানে রাফাতকে নেওয়ার পরও তোমাদের যে লাইন আপটা ছিল, দ্যাট ওয়াজ আ স্টার লাইন আপ। ব্যাড্রেভ, কাপশি, মেশিন, ইভিলাই, ওটা ছিল একটা লেজেন্ডারি মানে লাইন আপ বাংলাদেশের পার্সপেক্টিভে। এখন সেখানে যখন আবার এসএস রাফাতও যুক্ত হইলো, তো পুরোপুরি আবারও আরেকজন স্টারকে ইনক্লুড করায়। এখন কি মনে হয়, প্রেসারটা কি তোমাদের উপর একটু বাড়ছে? স্টার লাইন আপের প্রেসার
পারছে বলতে ঠিক আছে, একই, জাস্ট খালি একটু একজনের আরেকজনের সাথে খেলা ম্যাচ করাটা আর কি বাকি, এতটুকু।
ওকে, সো ম্যাচের ব্যাপারে যদি একটু কথা বলি, রিসেন্টলি আমরা দেখতেছি 7C is taking kills, 7C is doing good, বাট ওভারঅল কেন জানি মনে হয় 7C চিকেন ডিনারের যেই স্বাদটা, সেটা আগের মতো যেরকম দেখা যেত রেগুলার বেসিসে আমরা দেখতাম, সেটা খানিকটা মিসিং। সো তোমরা কি এরকম কিছু কাজ করতেছো, এটা কিভাবে বাড়ানো যায় সেটা নিয়ে?
এটা বাড়ানোর জন্যই বেসিক্যালি ইবিল আইজিএল করতেছে আপাতত, এন্ড কিল ডিপার্টমেন্টে তো আমরা সবাই আছি, সবাই।
ইউ আর লিডিং ইট ফ্রম দ্য ফ্রন্ট, ইউ আর গেটিং দ্য মোস্ট কিলস অ্যাকচুয়ালি।
না আমি না, যাই হোক, রাফাত ভাই ইবিল, দেন বাদরে ভাই সবাই কিল পিক করতেছে, মেশিন ভাইও অ্যাজ ইউজুয়াল সাপোর্ট রোলে খেলে যাইতেছে। দেন আমরা আর কি এটার জন্য লাস্টে গিয়ে আমাদের সব মিস্টেক গুলো হয়, লাস্টে সবার সচরাচর মিস্টেক হয়, কিন্তু আমার লাস্টে গিয়ে বেশি মিস্টেক হইতেছে। ওই মিস্টেক গুলোর জন্য আমরা অলরেডি কাজ করতেছি ফাইনালের আগে আগে, যাতে আমাদের এগুলো সলভ হয়ে যায়। এন্ড ফার্স্ট দিন আমাদের ফাইনাল বেটার গেলে ইনশাআল্লাহ আমরা চ্যাম্পিয়ন হবো।
ও মাই গড, দ্যাটস আ বোল্ড স্টেটমেন্ট। ফার্স্ট দিনের চ্যাম্পিয়ন মানে পুরো টুর্নামেন্টের চ্যাম্পিয়ন। ইয়েস, দ্যাটস হোয়াট আই ওয়ান্ট টু হিয়ার। ফ্যানরাও কিন্তু এটাই চায়। সো লাস্ট যে কোয়েশ্চেনটা, সবচেয়ে ইম্পর্টেন্ট কোয়েশ্চেন, 7C এর বুট ক্যাম্প আমরা বাংলাদেশে কবে দেখতে পেতে পারি? এনি নিউজেস ফর দ্য ফ্যান্স?
আমরা যদি পিএমপিএল এর জন্য কোয়ালিফাই হই,
ওকে,
এন্ড ইনশাআল্লাহ একসাথে
যাবে।
হবে।
হয়ে যাবে একসাথে দুইটা? ও মাই গড, ওকে, সো দিস ইজ দ্য নিউজ। সো চ্যাম্পিয়ন হওয়ার জন্য এখানে কিন্তু সুযোগ এবং মানে তখন ইচ্ছা কিন্তু আর একটু বেড়ে গেল এখন। থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ কাপসি জয়েন করার জন্য। ইট ওয়াজ এ ভেরি বিজি ডে, বাট ওভারঅল আমাদের সাথে আসার জন্য, সময় কাটানোর জন্য অনেক ধন্যবাদ। ইনশাআল্লাহ সামনে চ্যাম্পিয়ন কাপসিকে কিন্তু আমরা আরেকবার দেখতে যাবো। সো থ্যাংক ইউ কাপসি, সি ইউ अगेन।
Hello and welcome to PUBG Mobile National Championship Bangladesh region. All thanks to Oppo F19 Pro for making it all happen. We're in the finals, day number 1. Match 2 is what we're going to be jumping into. Ankit, I mean, start of the day, absolute domination being showcased from the entire lobby is what I would say. But now match 2, maybe, hopefully, things will change. And well, again, I mean, what team do you think is maybe going to be in that sort of an X factor in this game number 2?
Venom Legends again, maybe because they have a very strong suit if we talk about the game of Sanok that will be the next game for us. But A1 Esports, they will really be looking hard to strike things back because this is certainly not A1 Esports fans and teams and the players would be easily digesting. This is not the way A1 Esports starts of the day. So one game that really didn't went to the favor might be the second game where they will really look to pounce upon the players. But apart from that, it was some other team, X Brothers, it was Python TZ, it was many teams that we have seen that they don't perform in the early stage of the game, but thanks to their execution, the perfect gameplay that make sure and that made sure that yes, they are capable enough. But because I really didn't expect that first game would have gone this fast. We just saw that early knock, and then it was some sort of different rotation. So that monotonicity that we talk about has now been broken down. It also, if we also talk about that team 4M rotation from Novorupnoy and then taking the bridge towards the area of military and then crossing the military bridge, they were just making sure that once they make a late rotation, that will be paving their way. So I'm really excited to see what more sort of strategies teams have really in their bag.
Well, I completely agree, dude. Because you talk about rotation, we can definitely bring up 7C Esports as well, because they love to go down towards the southern, towards the military base, right? And then from there, the way they made that rotation to get into the zone, and not only get into the zone, but with finesse and be able to still keep all 4 players alive and move on along with a decent pace to be able to, of course, get some kills as well. So incredible play being showcased from the teams. But as we move on to the second game, this is where things are going to get that much more interesting.
Exactly. Always it is Sanok. One thing that is common, and that is the randomness, that circle, that curve wall, those extreme water rotation, those snake in action, those third party situation, the kind of situation. I mean, you have a hell lot of opportunities in this match to actually capitalize upon the kills. And with that, we head towards this second match where we again get to see 3-1 split from Python TZ that we have seen in the past. One player gets closer towards the Paradise Resort just to make sure that if the circle goes towards the same area, he will be the one that will be holding those things. But 7Cs again onto their boot camp, A1 Esports Paradise Resort, uncontested for now, it seems, because other players are there. I won't agree with the fact that there other players are not there, but still far away from there because I can get to see the markers are already there, those green markers. But Venom Legends now they are 4-man complete roster as Nightwing, Steel Shot, Fry Pan, and the players are slowly and steadily moving towards their Cow and Tatmok area onto the tangent. It is a TRZ that is found his safe haven into the area of Hatin that the players and the teams have loved to in the past. In the area of 9-9, I can get to see an early contestation, to be honest, because Team 4M, bad intentions, there are not a lot of compound that you can actually hide upon. So if the players make those early initiatives and early miss, I guess that will be the moment that we get to see those kick off with that fight. But straight off the bat, unstoppable, insane, going for that extreme rotation from the water area. But let's head toward the fight that is happening into the area of Painan, where we get to see two teams. But unfortunately, this time it is Kings of BD Katappa into the same proximity where Oxygen's player are actually. So in the last game, it was Team 4M's player that was isolated from Kings of BD. This time it is two players from Kings of BD, but certainly this was not the case as I was expecting and preempting to be, as the players already knew that what they are trying to do, an early knock, an early finish, right off the bat, two match back to back, and the Kings of BD are completely looking stunning with the way they have come into the final.
Aggressive stance is what this team is showcasing. I mean, first 3 minutes itself, they've already converted 2 kills. The way they made that push, two coming in from the quarry, two coming in from the flank, absolute domination, annihilation is what was showcased to the face of Oxygen Esports. And right off the bat, Oxygen Esports is down to a two-man squad. Now, that is something that they're going to have to be really, really careful of as they move on along into the game itself, because there's just three. I mean, it's not the kind of play that, of course, any team wants to be part of. But on the other tangent, talk about a flow, talk about the swiftness and the eagerness with which Kings of BD are playing these games. It is looking absolutely phenomenal for them. But we shall see if that is all that is going to be showcased to us in the first few minutes, or will there be other contestations as well? As of now, we do see the other two players of course, the side of Silent Cloud right there, who were, well, again, going to be absolutely quiet for the moment as they get themselves not giving away a lot of audio cues and trying to, well, just sustain and remain in the lobby. But Kings of BD most certainly not giving them any chance to do so.
Definitely, Kings of BD just not letting things slip away from their side. They have got 2 kills in the early stage of the game, and with the quickness the players are running towards the players of Root Dude, it seems that it might just fall down. We have to still wait for that because Root Dude is also one team that surely relies upon aggression. So if both the team for lights, I'll be more interested to see because aggression versus aggression. I mean, every time it is an eye-soothing experience. But for now, Root Dude's players have aligned themselves closer where the boot camp area is. And if they get hold of that western side ridges, it can be cherry on the top because when you get close towards the ridges, one thing is that actually favors you is that height advantage. And since they have known in the past that it's 7Cs that has time and again gone into the same area, we might get to see some fight erupting. And as soon as the circle constricts, it becomes really difficult to survive in the area of camp because a lot of teams have their eyes set upon into the same areas because eventually it offers you a lot of fortified area where you can be safe at the moment.
That is so true, and it is a massive area as well for four players to try and call their own. And of course, as they try and do so, it is not always easy as the other teams are trying to aggress on. But move that conversation towards the other side, where we did see NRZ Sports very, very close to the side of T4M, just a small little river that's going to be the canal that's going to be separating the two. And of course, the audio cues has certainly been given away to those. And right now, the only conversation is, will NRZ be the ones that will take on the fight, or will Team T4M be the one that will push on for that aggressive stance? And again, both the teams certainly do need those points. And for the moment, we are being showcased with this beautiful, again, when it comes down to the top view, we have some wonderfully skilled, talented people, right, who always do give us these beautiful scenic views of these wonderful maps of PUBG Mobile.
Exactly what a scenic view, as you perfectly mentioned. Those blues, everything blue, the big bird flying into the air of this green lush map of Sanok. It's always a nice soothing experience. But moving on to the fight and to the circle is still on to the area of Camp Alpha. I guess this will be a central shift, and if that happens, Camp Alpha will be in contention. But NRZ and T4M into Pina. Now this is an elongated fight. I guess we still haven't seen those early bloods being drawn because had that been the case, things would have been really difficult for each on both of the sides. But one thing Leviton has made sure that he has made that flank angle. That means from the left hand side where most of the players of Team 4M are actually positioned, he can pass on that info if the team actually wants and relies upon But LR8 from the sides of Team 4M is also making sure he's also trying to get the TPP advantage, because the way he is taking that TPP advantage, you see that he might have seen some player coming down, and yes, he has also seen the two players coming in. That means LR8 and Team 4M are pretty much ready if the fight comes to their way.
Well, Accelerate certainly was able to spot that and will most certainly be relaying that to his teammates and will be prepped to take on this onslaught against the players of NRZ. And again, when it comes down to NRZ, they are, well, interesting to know, Wes, they are going to be pushing on back along. And this is the moment for Accelerate to try and take on some damage. But no, he will not be able to dish out quite a lot of damage as Shifa was able to get himself back to the safety. Leviathan, though, is still not moved on to the moved away from that flank angle. So Leviathan will still be maintaining that position, and that does put a bit of pressure towards the players of T4M as to what exactly should their play be. They are very, very close in terms of the compounds that they have held, and that does not give them a lot of advantage in terms of how they've how they can create or even try and create a push against the players of NRZ. But it is only a matter of time before they will have to do so, because the circle certainly has moved away. And talk about unstoppable, I mean, they made that water rotation, and now that water rotation seems like has maybe backfired. We'll see, because many times we do notice the rotations coming in from the teams, but they do not have the jerry cans, and boat so many times runs out of gas. So we shall see if that ends up being the for them or not. Also, very close to that rotation that they're making is going to be the players of X Brothers, who are going to be finding themselves in the zone. So hopefully Unstoppable just stop right here in Tambang and then move on their foot. But it is not looking like to be the case. On the tangent, going back to the fight of T4M and RZ, it seems like T4M is going to be backing out to get themselves into the safety of the zone itself. And for the side of NRZ, they seem to be making a longer rotation.
Exactly, they are going for the longer rotation from the query. They are now coming to close towards from the Pine, and they are making a second rotation, I guess. And once they make an entry, they might be facing the brunt. But one thing Unstoppable has done good, because had that they made an entry towards the Tambang, it was already X Brothers, but this was certainly not the case. But again, look at this view. I mean, this is a big bird that actually brings you that explosive drop, be it with the ARM, be it with the MK14, and now also that new meta, the new gun MG3, that light machine gun. Would love to see, because that offers you that 616 and 990 RPM per minute, and that is a big, big beast. We have seen M249 how it acts, but MG3, I guess that also brings a lot of damage, because already we get to see the 7.62 lead brings you a humongous damage as compared to 556, and with the rate of fire that it can shoot in that MG3, it can also prove detrimental. But for now, Python auto aim has its aim set upon RZ, and all of a sudden, in the last game, also White Cat just was finished in the early stage game. This game also was put in the open and just find himself in the open. Amba, who is making sure that the player doesn't get finished off, and just because of that, he's giving that ample amount of cover fire. Will that be enough? No, is the case, as White Cat has been completely finished and sent to the lobby. TRZ early did at the start of the game, the thing that we don't get to see from TRZ Sports again and again, but in the last two games, this has certainly been the case.
Well, it certainly has. And for now, we do see Mamba Noob trying to, well, get a little bit of a confirmed kill for himself as well, because we did see his teammate was able to bring down the player of iHigh. But on the tangent, on the back end of Python, we do see 7C also chiming it along. So if that third party does strike, it could be a deal that could backfire for the players of Python Esports. And Python has apparently, yep, they have lost the player of 27C, and it is iHigh who will be sent back into the lobby. But the kill has been stolen from the side of TRZ, and it is looking like a conversation where Python have certainly resulted in taking a kill for themselves, but find themselves in a bit of a precarious, sort of like a sandwich situation, where one side is of course going to be TRZ, on the back tangent is going to be 7C, but 7C will not probably be able to make this push for them, because after all it is going to be an open area fight, and that is something that, even though you might have flank angles, the cover that Python have in form of that compound could very well work in their favor. But for how long is the question.
That's the question for the moment, because even if they were having the compound the players were completely unaware of the fact that some players from sides of different team have engulfed them, and resulting one player getting down. And Aya has been eliminated, as you perfectly mentioned. But Python are ready to take up the fight. If Seven Seas give them a big challenge, but even esports, I just saw because. This team has been just waiting patiently, just waiting if the circle comes into the lab. But if it doesn't, I guess the rotation will be a tricky affair for themselves. On the other hand, it is going to be Seven Seas that will be getting the favor, but thanks to that zone. I mean, A1 Esports, they perfectly know how do they do it. But every time we get to see speed with the map of Irangle, Miramar, or Sanok, this time it was for me. It was like this cannot be the case. I mean, Cam Bravo will be finding themselves away from that zone, but certainly 25% is what 20 to 25% of the total area of Cam Bravo is in the zone, and in that 25%, A1 Esports are finding their way. But on the other hand, 7Cs are now moving slowly and steadily, just trying to get close where TRC's players are there. They get too close, they can get one more fight, and till now, it has been some sort of slow start, I would say, because apart from those initial knocks that we just now see, or from those one more knocks here or there, the game has been on a slow start because Spine and Fart was pretty much preempted, was pretty much possible, but then the players just retreated from that sort.
That certainly was the case, but not for long. As we move into the 13-minute marker, the teams are going to be pushing on along, and this is going to be Kings of BD who will push towards the players of TRZRA. And well, boy, oh boy, it is going to be Scorpion who will take the first fight onto the players of course, Kings of BD. Katappa going down. Kings of BD left with only a two-man squad. Scorpion has been brought down thanks to a first Tigers play indeed, and this is going to be quite an aggressive stance that Kings of BD are once again making in this game. Devil's OP on the tangent has been brought down thanks to a first Mr. 7, but will that be enough? Because two players still survive. RJ, as I say, has been brought down. This is not looking too good because Kings of BD are left with only Tiger for the moment, but TRZRA are certainly recuperating and going to be getting their players revived, and as they do so, they might get a better angle on this fight.
I mean, we have got Tiger, we have got Anaconda, and then we have got Scissor and Devil, Katappa, RJ. I mean, the names are pretty much fascinating, and so has been the gameplay, especially for the sides of TRZ, because it is seeming that at any moment, if Tiger gets spotted, he can be eliminated. And with this, we can get to see one more fight is erupting. And this time, it is going to be King GG from the sides of X Brothers that is punishing the players onto the other side. But will Tiger be able to beat the revival to one player that is still standing, that is still bleeding out? That's the question. It seems that yes, is going to be the case as he's now slowly and steadily tries to move himself close where his player is actually getting now. Revival will be given the case, and if the revival becomes successful, then it will be a 2v3 affair on to the side. It is going to be bad intentions for Dean that is now putting things pretty much nice and tight against for the sides of Team X4. But he needs to make sure that the right angle side is not checked. Oh!
Well, T4M, what a perfect play. What an amazing nade that was brought on. But on the other tangent, it was NRZ cut off long to that fight, and T4M will be sent back to the lobby. It was X Brothers who chimed in along, it was Bad Intentions who moved in towards the action, and finally it was NRZ. The exact stance that they found themselves against has brought them down to their knees, and T4M will be sadly going back into the lobby on the 15-minute marker. A slow start, as you were perfectly mentioning, based on the map itself. We do see Sandhawk to be a bit more aggressive, but again, the teams know $30,000 on the line is certainly not an easy stake to let go of. And as we do move on along from one moment to the next, it is BIP right here. And what a perfect play he's creating. Or find and talk. Most of the times we talk about being a king of the hill situation, but this player is trying to recreate something from underneath the hill, and it is unstoppable that he's got his confidence.
Exactly, but it is going to be a tough affair for NRG because they have eliminated Team Puram successfully, but now they are set upon one team's crosshair, and they won't be them pretty much so easily to away the shot of down, but they are completely pinned down in that small shack. Grenade comes in, does the business, but Mr. BBC has fallen himself down with his own grenade, and this was something that could let the demise of Boston Pyjamas. I guess it is Bimo that is still surviving onto the back end side, onto the hand. Unstoppable, 2 kills they have already, but that has come onto some real big cost, and that is that Hassan and Insane has been pulled down. But in all these fights, it is Unstoppable that has got 2 kills from the last match. I guess this is not the sort of start that they actually wanted to, but Kings of BD are again into the contention with TRC. I could have imagined that they have now fallen down, gone away from all these fights, but RJ is making now them pay in a real quick time. But RJ has finally fall down as he does the mistake to go and make a push out in the open.
Well, with that, it is going to be Kings of BD not looking too good, and they will be sent back into the lobby thanks to, of course, Rude Dude chiming in along into that fight as well. And as we push on to another fight, it is going to be TRZ Esports' Mamba Noob, who was trying to take a fight as he got a bit too overextended as he was brought down. But this is going to be the King of the Hill that worked in favor of IPG. But one thing to talk about is going to be Venom Legends as well as A1 Esports. They have been quiet, and now is the moment that I believe they will shine. I'm waiting for. But on the other tangent, as you move on to the kill feed itself, it is going to be BMO, who has been able to retaliate against the players of Unstoppable and has certainly gotten kills for himself.
I mean, definitely, but those grenades from the IPG was pretty much so precise that once Atomic was giving a revival to Manu, but he made sure that the revival could have been the case, and just because of that, okay, so grenade was good enough to take to at least let him not leave the revival at that point, but Atomic made sure that his gun is when is in hand. He will be making sure that he will be taking the complete squad and wiped out, has been the case for IPG. Again, that fight should have been won by IPG because they were in the number advantage, they were the king of the hill situation, they had a lot of info against TRZ, but then again, know how Atomic, how Mamba Noob has been in the past, the flank angle, the aggression that they bring in, and that is certainly not the case for now. But 6 kill has already been secured by 7 Cs. Again, in the last game, just saw how they dominated the match where they got a lot of kill. In this game of Sandhawk, already they have 6 kill. How long they will be able to go? That is going to be the next question. But A1 Esports all of a sudden 6-9 takes one more player down from the size of Venom Legend, and this is not looking good for Venom Legend also, as A1 Esports is also losing the players slowly and steadily. So counter damage and mutual damage has been done from both the sides, but ex-brother Fazal has made sure that he will be finishing things off with the help of those grenades. That grenade just bounced off from this big rock, but Saji Dopi is also making sure that his grenade could have been some other place, but that grenade just lost its own way.
It certainly did. And Faisal right here from the side of X Brothers, the final player remaining on the other tangent when it comes down to NRZ. Sazadobi certainly once again going to be setting up a nade parade onto the player of X Brother. And with that, a perfectly set up nade, he will be able to bring that team down to their knees and will now try and get themselves into the zone. Aeon Esports on the tangent did lose their lifetime Venom Legends aggressive stance. And now, as we move on, this is where we shall see which team will be the one that turn into a fish and try and survive as long as they possibly can. Talk about player advantage. I mean, 7C are looking pretty good. Rude are looking pretty good. Venom Legends are looking pretty good. So it is going to be quite an aggressive stance as we move into the final few circle of this game.
There's one small piece